The 2027 BMW iX3. This is an all-new electric SUV, but stay tuned until the end of this video where I'll be sharing with you how you can save up to 12% off the MSRP on various new 2026 BMW vehicles like the X5, X7, and the iX electric SUV. All right, let's get started here. So the iX3, this is the first series production model from BMW to feature the new class, or really the Neue class, or even Neue Klasse BMW design language. You guys can go crazy in the comment section regarding the pronunciation regarding that. But really what I want to hear from you guys in the comments is the looks of this iX3. Personally, I am actually a fan of the way this SUV looks. It's interesting how they went with that giant grille design, and then now for this new model, they went with the smaller grille design that harkens back to like the 60s and 70s BMWs. I really think this design has potential to work really well on sedans like the new 3 Series that should be coming out. But comment below, let me know your thoughts. But something really impressive about the exterior, it's going to be the drag coefficient, which is just 0.24. That is really quite low for a vehicle that kind of sits up a bit higher. As standard, you get some 20-inch alloy wheels, but there are also optional 21 and 22-inch wheels to choose from as well. You can further customize these vehicles by going with the M Sport or M Sport Professional packages. But more importantly, this new iX3, it's featuring the 6th generation BMW eDrive technology, and it now has a cylindrical cell high voltage battery setup. And this is actually going to help with the heat dissipation and even potentially lower the risk of EV fires, or at least helping to reduce the catastrophic effects of an EV fire by preventing like that chain effect from happening. So all great things. I really appreciate that. And this is built on the 800 volt architecture. The iX350 xDrive model, it's going to feature dual motors, and it's going to produce around 463 horsepower and about 476 pounds-feet of torque. 0 to 60 estimate is around 4.7 seconds with a top speed of 130 miles per hour. These vehicles are rocking a rather large battery, 108 kilowatt hour battery. There's going to be an estimated range of about 400 miles with these vehicles. It's going to have a peak DC fast charging rate of 400 kilowatts. So that means you can get about 230 miles of EV range in just 10 minutes. That is exceptional. And BMW try to be as sustainable as possible. When making this vehicle, there's a lot of recycled materials being used throughout. In fact, 1/3 of this vehicle is made from secondary raw materials, and the battery cells have a 42% lower carbon footprint compared to the previous generation units. Definitely all great on paper, and these iX3s, they can tow up to 4,400 pounds. And regarding the drive, they are featuring something known as the quote-unquote heart of joy. It's essentially a central super brain computer that controls every aspect of the car's driving dynamics with a latency of around 1 millisecond. I would be really curious to try that out, but overall the Neue Klasse, it's going to reduce the energy losses by about 40% compared to the 5th generation BMW eDrive technology. The weight is down by about 10% compared to before, and the manufacturing costs are down by 20% for this new 6th generation eDrive technology. We also have completely newly developed electronics architecture, which is comprised of 4 high-performance computers known as the super brains, and they pull together their processing power for things like the driving dynamics, automated driving, the infotainment, and basic/comfort enhancing functions as well. And the new digital nervous system consists of a wiring harness that's divided into 4 zones. This reduces weight by 30% compared to the technology used previously, and it eliminates nearly 2,000 feet of wiring. That is pretty cool and pretty crazy. There's a lot of enhancements regarding tech and just intelligent design that's also saving them money and weight, of course, with these vehicles. That is cool to see. I would like to know what the official curb weight is for these vehicles. Apparently Motor Trend is estimating around 5,000 pounds for an iX350 xDrive model, which is interesting. I'm not sure where they got that figure from. Honestly, I would like this to be lighter than that, but regardless though, to help out with the driving, you can get some adaptive dampers as an option. Anyway, let's move on to the interior space, where BMW has, of course, went for that modern, uncluttered, minimalistic interior space. And overall, I do like it. I do like that square steering wheel with like that 4-spoke design I mean, it's just different. And that kind of cool special factor is sort of missing from a lot of new cars. At least this doesn't feel soulless and generic, even though they went for that minimalistic interior design. But once again, comment below, let me know your thoughts. I'm not a big fan of those kind of touch haptic buttons on the steering wheel, but I believe there is some kind of a haptic feedback. Now, the big feature here is going to be the screens. We got that central 17.9-inch infotainment screen, and they gave it a new kind of angular design. I do like that. And apparently they've simplified this new BMW operating system, but of course all of your HVAC is still embedded into that infotainment screen, which fine, but the other thing I don't really like about that is the air vents, the way that you control them. You literally have to poke at the screen to move the air vents. That is a bit obtuse. That's definitely my number one con with this setup, but you do get things like your wireless Apple CarPlay and your wireless Android Auto, of course. And the other highlight is the massive 43.3-inch panoramic vision digital gauge cluster, which spans the width of the windshield. At first, I thought this was an absolute gimmick, but I actually tested the new Lincoln Nautilus, and it also features this kind of pano windshield display. I have to say that implementation is genuinely brilliant. You have all of the information shown at your eye level, so you don't really have to take your eyes off the road all that much to see the information. I do think that this is going to be the future of kind of digital gauge clusters moving forward, because it does work genuinely really well. I know it looks like a gimmick when you see it in pictures or in videos, but in practice, I do really like this setup. If you've tried something similar, let us know how you feel about it in the comment section below. Regarding these seats, we have like these vegan seats as standard, known as Veganza, but you can also get optional merino leather if you want. BMW does give us a 13-speaker Harman Kardon audio system as standard, which their HK unit, it does sound pretty decent. Regarding cargo capacity, we have about 30.4 cubic feet of trunk space in the back, which is pretty good. And when you fold down the rear seats, you have up to 65 cubic feet of space. And in the front, you do have a front trunk, about 2 cubic feet. So overall, pretty practical. There's a lot more information to cover, but I'm gonna have the full BMW press release on the screen for you to check out. That way you will know everything there is to know regarding this vehicle. Trust me, there's a lot of information there. So you can pause, you can check it out for yourself. But these vehicles, they should be available around mid-2026 for the US deliveries, and the prices should start around $60,000, which that's not bad. And at this point, we should all know that MSRP isn't super important when it comes to these EVs, because all we truly care about is how cheaply do these things lease out for. That's the only thing that matters. Because yeah, sure, all of this new tech that BMW has implemented, that's cool and all, but can we get this for like $500 a month on a lease? That's really the only thing that matters, because it is still, at the end of the day, a disposable electric car. It's a lease and dump machine for sure. And that's the thing, no matter how much of this heart of joy technology you try to implement, you know, it's fine, but it only goes so far. It's not something that a true BMW enthusiast, or really a true car enthusiast, is ever really gonna get excited about. This is gonna serve as a car enthusiast or just a wealthy person's cheap daily driver lease car. I'm sure this is going to drive just fine. It's going to do everything really well on paper, but it is a giant tech fest. We still don't have real buttons and switches for the HVAC. I'm sure these car companies are going to bring back the physical controls, and they're going to act like it's some big revelation, because these big companies, these big corporations, they always like to introduce the problem and then introduce a solution later on. I believe these new iX3s, they have some kind of a camera built inside to serve as a quote-unquote security system, and I freaking hate that, but you would be surprised there are people who absolutely defend things like that. Anyway, as mentioned before, I'll have the full press release on the screen. That way you will know all of the facts and the figures and the specs. As promised at the beginning of this video, here's how you can save a substantial amount of money on new BMWs and on other makes and models as well. You can reach out to AutoCompanion, who is one of the largest car brokers in the United States. He has partner dealerships both in Washington, D.C. and in California, and on things like the X5, the X5 plug-in hybrid, the X7s, the iX, he's got about 12% off the MSRP, and that includes not only the 2025 model year, but even the 2026. So genuinely some of the best BMW pricing in the United States. He's also got similarly high discounts on Mercedes vehicles, new Lexus SUVs, at least the gas models, and he also has some great Audi deals, even some Porsche Macan deals as well. And AutoCompanion offers more economy brands like Mazda, Nissan, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, etc. So a lot of different variety. He is able to offer nationwide shipping, but shipping is something you have to pay extra for, so it would be ideal if you can pick up in either the DC area or in California. AutoCompanion also has amazing, honest lease deals as well, because he has a built-in leasing calculator into his website, and he also has a separate free leasing calculator that you can use to run numbers on just about any car. That way you can truly understand the mechanics of leasing. You can see the interest rate of a lease, the residual values, and the incentives for your local zip code. Because keep in mind, lease deals, interest rates, incentives, all of these things, they change every month, and they also change depending on what region you live in. But AutoCompanion's website and his calculators, they also update every month, and they show you information based on the zip code that you enter. So his website, his calculators, all great resources. But keep in mind, to access some of these deals, AutoCompanion does charge a broker fee. He did say that if you go on his website and you fill out an inquiry form, he did say that he will take some money off of his broker fee, and I really appreciate him doing that for my audience. So I will have AutoCompanion and his information and his websites linked in the description box below. If you found value with this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.